Hi everyone, I'm Sarah Childhood Finds, and thank you for joining me today. We're doing the weekly What Sold video. It will be April 7th through the 13th of 2025. And sales, there wasn't a ton of quantity, but I had some decent quality sales, and so they totaled up to a decent amount this week, which I'm pretty happy with. But I'm still hoping once I actually get back into working like I should, that it'll improve more. I did list 60 items this week that totaled out to about 1,758. Now, a new caveat to that number when I tell you it. It will also be including the items that I am listing on a separate account for my dad and more my dad's items. And that account is for my mom, so I am doing it separately, and it's just ease of keeping everything in one little area. I will say it's frustrating going back and forth between stores. I wish eBay would make like a quick switch. That would be very helpful, or maybe there is and I just don't know that yet. But that number when I list, it's going to be when I list on that account, my account, and Facebook Marketplace. I don't have a lot of items to list on the new account yet. That won't happen until late May. But I did sell, it was a total of 51 listings, and that included 48 on eBay, 2 on Etsy, and 1 on Mercari. Cross-listing again, my cross-listing was shut down while I was out of town, and I haven't been cross-listing very much of the last week, so that totally makes sense why that's not great. But I started doing a little more this week, and the gross sales on eBay were over $2,000, which I'm pretty happy with. Right now, I'm at about 2,125-ish listings on eBay, but I'm still moving along. But I will not lie, I am really struggling. I am feeling very overwhelmed, and it's just so many things are going to be happening, and I was emotionally drained by my week. I didn't realize how much so until I got home. And so I have had a very hard time working, a very difficult time getting out of bed. It's kind of the downfalls of being self employed, because when I was working and I was having a hard time, I still had to get out of bed and go to work. I would very, very rarely ever miss a day of work. And that was something, that probably helped me during some times because I had to get out and do it. But when you're self employed, it can be more difficult. So keep that in mind if you ever do want to become full time self employed, that it does take a lot of push to get yourself going, even when you're really struggling. Because I am very honestly very much so struggling. I am having a really hard time over the last couple weeks dealing with everything. And so I have not worked like I should in any way, shape, or form. So my sales not being as good as I want pretty much are on me. The sales haven't been great this week to start, so it's pretty much on me. But I am listing more now. I have started a routine again, so I'm hoping it will pick up. But sometimes it's the waves of grief, I guess, as people talk about, where I'm in a valley right now. I got up for a while and really pushed on my business, but I'm struggling a little more now. But we're pushing through it. So I'm going to share some sales today. How are your sales going? Are they going okay? I've heard a lot of people, it's very up and down. I've heard a lot of, when you're on those eBay groups on Facebook, it's a lot of doomsday scenarios. So I'm just curious, how are you guys doing out there? But let me know in the comments. And then otherwise, let's get started on some sales. Also in the comments, if you could let me know, I'm doing the microphone again, but I am going to increase the volume because a lot of you had said it was just very quiet. So I'm going to try to really increase that volume. Let me know if it's enough or anything else I can do to possibly improve it for you guys, because I want it to be easy for you guys to enjoy the content as well. So this first one is part of the Department 56 buy. It's Dragon Parade, and it sold for a best offer of $48 and actually is going international. Beautiful condition, as many of the others were. This I was very surprised. I got it at an estate sale, and it was late in the morning. I mean, it had been open for 5+ hours, I believe, at this point, and it was a Garmin new eTrex H high sensitivity personal navigator. And I recognize Garmin. I've sold things kind of like this before. got this one because it was new in package and they only charged me $5 for it. And I believe it sold for right around $47, and it just took a week or two. This I got in an estate sale. I paid $5 for it, which was a little more than I would typically pay, but it sold for $21, so not a bad profit. And it's a Betsy Johnson crossbody purse bag, black and white kitty cat. If I was a purse person, I would have totally kept this because darn is this cute, guys. But I like pockets. And this one is a brass rabbit bunny jewelry round trinket box. This has been listed for quite some time, since last year, probably summerish. And I got it with a bunch of other bunny stuff. And so I kind of priced it high. I just took a best offer of $48. I think I have $5 to $10 into it. So I am happy with that profit. I'm also being more flexible on some prices too that are still at the house. So as I've told some of you guys, I'm in the process of moving into my storage unit. So if it's still at the house, if I don't have to move it, then I will also be willing to take more offers because, I'm going to start moving everything that's not going to stay in the house here pretty soon. Things like records, stuff that can be hurt by heat or cold because I don't have a climate controlled one. So that kind of stuff will stay with me, but I'm slowly trying to move it all out. I'm just hoping it all sells before I have to move it. So maybe in the next week or two, 1,500 items will sell, right? This one is a retired Department 56 Snow. Oh, I hate when I do Snow, the original Snow. It's Rosita's Cantina, and it sold for $44.95. And it did not have the light in there. One of the very few pieces that wasn't perfect. This came from a Facebook marketplace of Dixon flannels. I did quite a while ago, and it was such a great pickup. My partner kept 4 of them, and then I've still got to sell 12. I paid $200 for 16 Dixon flannels, and a lot of them they were in beautiful condition. And I only think I have 2 left, maybe. And this one is the Samson button up. They all tend to have names. The limited edition, they're pretty much all limited edition, I believe it's how it's run. But certain ones are more desirable, of course. This, I think, sold for a best offer of like $55-ish, around there. Sorry, I don't quite remember. Around $55-ish. This is a PlayStation Blockbuster black backpack carrying case. This one has been listed a very long time. I would say a year plus, but I took a best offer of $95 and I only paid $1 for this at a rummage sale. So I don't really care that it took that long. It was easy, super easy to ship. I am absolutely happy with the profit. I am fine to wait a year for items that are going to sell for nearly $100, but $95 was the offer. This is some Oneida Satin Aquarius Heirloom Stainless. You guys have seen this pattern before. It sold for $49.95, this set of 2 dinner forks. And I sold another set of 2 dinner forks to the same buyer a few days later. And I'll never get over the excitement of it. This is Grateful Dead Patriot. And this one and the next one and the 3 of them total sold to the same buyer that's bought from me before. And this one is Chops. He's like a little lamb. He's real cute. He did sell for $100. Patriot sold for around $38 on an offer. And then Ruby sold for $75. All of those went to the same buyer. Those are some of my higher price bears. I do have, of the bears I have left, it's more of the higher priced ones. The more affordable ones went quite quickly, but the more elusive ones, they have taken some time, and I'm fine with that. But I mean, that was over $200 for 3 bears. This is one of those reasons that it is important to do inventories on occasion. This is an item so sometimes when you sell an item and they don't pay, or something happens and it gets relisted, sometimes it won't get relisted. This one I know. I don't ever remember taking any offers on this one. I don't know how this one became unlisted. And I found it and was frustrated because it was $35 and it hasn't been listed for a long time, because I saw it in the box and wondered why it hadn't sold with all the others, because all the others have sold. and it wasn't listed. So that's why it does pay to do inventory, because you don't know what's sitting in your inventory that is not listed. So you could just have a collection of stuff. I am going to do an inventory of all the items I am taking to my storage unit. It's going to be a long process and make it a much longer scenario, but it will be worth it. And it'll allow me to purge as well. But this one is an Italary Super Cobra scale plastic model kit. I bought this for $5 at a yard sale with others like it, and it sold for $35. Once it was listed again, it sold in a couple days. This is a pair of Danskos. You guys know I like to pick up Danskos. And this is Kaya black leather suede slip-on clog. And this was a pretty petite shoe, 5.5 to 6. It's a 36. And it sold for a best offer of around $21. I typically never pay more than $5 for my Dansko unless something tells me that I need to pay more. But usually I keep it at $5 or less. So even $21 is still a good profit. And they have to be in very, very good condition. That is my other thing with shoes. You guys know that. And I will say, I sold a decent amount of shoes this week, and I'm noticing when I list the good shoes they sell, so I need to just suck it up and list more shoes. And this one is Melaleuca herbal shampoo. I showed this in a haul video a while back, and this is the last set of this shampoo to sell, and it sold for $24.95, and I have $1 into each one. These I just picked up at a yard sale. I probably could have got a little more if I'd waited or if I'd cleaned them up slightly more. But they're Hoka 1 Gaviota 4 black running shoes. They were a size 12 and they sold for a best offer of $41. I paid $5, so I figured I am fine turning around the profit and giving someone a good deal, but I probably could have got a little more. This is IKEA Klappa Lovey Security Blanket, zebra, black, white stripes. I like picking up IKEA plush and I like picking up Loveys. So this works well, and it sold for $11.95. This is 1995 Trendmaster Star Castle in the Clouds Enchanting Playset, vintage mini dolls. I do not put anything like Polly Pockets in this. It is not Polly Pocket. And so that does frustrate me when I see those. It is knockoff. It is knockoff Polly Pocket by 100%. But I do think it is, they consider that keyword spamming, I believe. It's like I just listed a knockoff My Little Pony. I did not put My Little Pony or knockoff in the title. I did put pony. I did cheat a little. But I tend to, you don't want a keyword spam. But this sold for $99.95. Because it also could lead to returns down the line. Someone will say, well, I thought this was this, etc. So sometimes it's just better not to do it. But this one I got $8 at an estate sale. I showed it in a haul video too, and I was so excited about it. This is Nike Force Shoes Boys Kids Wheat Brown. I mean, these sold for $40. I got these from my source, and they took probably a few weeks to sell, but $40 for kids' shoes, that was pretty good. And they were basically in perfect condition. The box was beat up, but it looked like the shoes had pretty much never been worn. This I got at an estate sale, and it's the complete Dune trilogy set of 3 Frank Herbert vintage paperback. You guys know I love picking up anything Dune, and this one sold for $31.45. So even paperback, guys, can be valuable. You can see they're not in perfect condition by any means. So it does, books are one of the things you just have to dive into and slowly learn. You do start to, it sounds silly, but you start to get a second sense with them. So you can start to kind of feel the ones that might be valuable. That's not a perfect system by any means. Unless you look up every single one, you're always going to miss something with books. But you start to learn. And this one's a very surprising piece. I got this from my source, and it's a 1953 Ferrari 212 Inter Original Factory Color Sales Handout brochure. And it says read as is because there was, like pen marks on it. Someone was adding up numbers. I mean, it has markings on it. The very front part is in good condition, but let's see. You can see here where there's the pen marks and things, and that's not the only example of that. But it did sell for $80.96, and I mean, this is basically a sheet of paper, guys. That's why ephemera is pretty fun. This is Miniso Life Japanese 16-inch diving duck plush toy, and it sold for $22.45. I believe this was $2 or $3 from the Goodwill. See, the bad part about the microphone, or maybe good part, you can't hear my dog snoring now. We just finished a long walk and he is knocked out. This is Lego Bionicles lot, and it just had some various parts in it. I don't enjoy Legos, and I don't want to count parts. I don't want to put things together. I do not enjoy Legos. Give me giant boxes of flatware. Do not give me a box of Legos. I don't want it. I mean, I will pick through to find valuable things, but I don't enjoy it. You know, that's why there's stuff to go around, because man, there are certain things that, you know, I know there's value in Legos, but unless it's complete, I saw a Lego box with my source and it said 603 pieces, and it was just like, ugh, absolutely not. I'm not going to find out if that's complete. I don't want to. But I know things like minifigures can sell and the Lego Bionicles, so I still keep my eye out for them. I'm just more picky. This sold for a best offer of, I believe it was 42. It was 40 or 42. And this is Oddfellows Rebecca Meritorious Award Pendant Necklace, IOOF. And that's independent order of Oddfellows. I went over this in the last time. And this one was personalized, so it does have a name on the back of it, but it still sold very quickly for $26.95. And this is MFA Museum of Fine Arts Enamel Octopus Pin Brooch. And this was just a cute piece that I got from my source, and it sold for $34.95 very quickly. This is Reed & Barton Copley 5 dinner fork stainless steel flatware replacements. This sold for $35.95, the sale price. And I don't remember. Let's see. I can tell by the number I can tell it's been listed for probably a couple of months, but that's okay. Flatware doesn't take up much space. And these I just picked up at an estate sale for $10. And they are Bass Weejan's Catherine brown leather penny loafer shoes. They were in beautiful condition, had probably only been used to try on, and sold for a best offer of $40. And I'm totally fine with the $10 into $40, especially because it's quick. This is Mattel 1960s Thingmaker metal molds, 25 pieces, clown skeleton creepy crawlers. I just put all of these together. I could have tried to put up sets. I could have tried to make more than one lot, but I just put them all together. And they sold for a best offer of $42 in a couple weeks. These ones have been listed a fair amount of time. I got them at the Goodwill with others of this same set, and it's 3 Boda Nova Japan gourmet stainless steel oval dinner spoons. And this sold for a best offer of $40. I probably have a few dollars into them. And then I just have a couple Etsy sales, and I was having trouble pulling up the listings, so you just get this, and I'll tell you how much they sold for. This is a pair of brass swan birds, wings up, mid-century home decor bookends, and they were very cute. There weren't a lot of them out there. I only could find one other like it on Etsy, actually. And this one sold for $34.95, and probably within the week of putting it on there. And then here is another Grateful Dead bear, and this is Miracle. This one, has been listed for 6+ months on eBay and has only been on Etsy for a week or two. So that's another one of the benefits of cross-listing, is that sometimes it will surprise you how fast things will sell once they get onto another platform with different eyes available. And this did sell for $69.95 on Etsy. And that is everything I have today that I'm sharing with you guys. So you can see that, I don't have the volume quite as much of sales, but I had some good ones. I had a lot more of the 30, 40, 50 plus sales, which is great. I mean, that's the dream, isn't it? The less work for more money. That's kind of the dream. And that's what I've been slowly trying to move into, is having a better quality of merchandise. But it's definitely a process. As we continue, it just is based off what I can find. So guys, thank you for joining me, and I will see you on the next video.